Right, people. We're going to kick off. Evening all. Thanks for coming in.
Evening,
Right,
mate.
let's get going. Right, this one is from last week. If you remember, I was on a. I mentioned I was in the 1977 Fleet Review. This was in the Solent. It's Queen Elizabeth Silver Jubilee. This was a Fleet Review, if you remember. And then the Queen's Jubilee, this was 2012, obviously on the Thames. This was instead of the Fleet Review, like it was in the Solent. And that's because we ain't got no ships anymore. It's embarrassing. But obviously, if it's on the Thames, it's a better spectacle for more people. Like if it's just ships anchored out in the Solent, you just see ships from the Isle of Wight or Portsmouth or Gosport, and that's it. That's the only people who see it. As if there was never anything on the news, unless you live down south side. But there's a Queen in the barge, got her colours on. And that was on the night. This is what we used to do in the Fleet Reviews as well. We used to light ourselves up at night, all pennants flying. Charlie's the next one. Buckingham Palace is pleased to announce coronation most of the King take place Saturday 6th of May. There's also Sunday the 7th, the coronation. On the 6th itself, you got the procession, and then it comes back. You got the coronation. Then on Sunday, there's a coronation concert, the big lunch, and then on the Monday as well, bank holiday, there's a big help out. Volunteers, whatever that is. So for his coronation, that is another time they would have had the Fleet Review. So obviously that's out the window as well. Whether he has one, I don't think he will, like his mum did down the Thames. I don't think they'll have time to fit it in. But we'll see what happens. Right, this is Summers. It's still in our zone where I live. It's been there for bloody moons. They did the anchor for the Titanic and they've done loads of things. And this is another photo from our zone group who was put on last week, which I've never seen before. And parts made, David Ford Summers is for HMS Goliath in 1887. So I've been and I'm still going strong. Excellent. Right, any Dahlia people on who've kept these chaps? I was going to ask anybody ain't here, but anybody else who just keeps the tubers. These are drying off nicely. Now, do I have to cut these back or just leave them as they are, ready to be planted out? It's only the bottom bits that you need. Do I cut these stems off or not? Any Dahlia people about? I'll leave that for a bit there. Right, British Gladiolus Society. I put a piece on last week, basically updating what I'm doing at the moment. So there's my stuff in mushroom crates in the garage, and my trays. And I'll put this on the group. Luckily, Nigel come in. So I put the dates in there when I'm going to plant last year, because that's when they come up. And big bear in mind that the same corn was planted on the same day as last year, probably flower about a week earlier, given the exact time. So they'll be going out a week later. Thank you for that, Nigel. Is that basically because they're all a bit bigger?
A bit older and a bit more acclimatised, yeah.
Yeah, excellent. But I think only going through the lot, I think there's only 5 that I had to bung away, and which ain't bad at all. Probably lost more stuff in the greenhouse because of these frosts, but we'll come on to that in a bit. Also, my cormlets, these will be planted out end of Feb. But obviously, them was little chaps last year, and that put a bit of meat on for this year. This one, back to nature. This is Australia, the lake and the waters of the rivers flow into it. It just looks like a tree, don't it? Whether that's all crap on the top, I don't know. But nature, love it. Right, my brickwork. This is nice and dry. That's been drying for a couple of days. So that's had the masonry primer on. Now I've got my paint, which is there. This paint I mix up at B&Q. Good thing about that, with them mixing the paints, they mix masonry paints, which is the only place I do it. And you give them a colour, which I give them a colour of our fence, not just mix it as near enough to that as you can. And they did, luckily for me. So basically, I'm just walloping all the brickwork and all, and eventually this lot will be done. But that's got to be pointed up first. I started doing this lot around here. Started getting a bit dark, but I can still see. It's bloody dark now. That's where I've finished. Couldn't see anymore, so I'll let you back in on. We had some decent frosts again. I was hoping we got rid of these, which is only still January. And with the forecast tonight, we've got frost. It was supposed to start getting warmer from that changed their mind again, and we got it at least 5 days next week as well. So the same thing, good frosts. Right, this was before we had the second lot of frost, so this is early last week. As you can see, there's cloud about, and it's still dry. And basically, I've got to wallop this fence another coat. Got 2 panels down. Managed to do a lot and get that in before the frost come, which this was the next day with the hound. Because I usually take her up Ulmer Hill, the motor, but I ain't going to thought about defrosting the windscreen or the car just to take her. So I'll just take her to the local park, which is this one here. Looks like I'll be doing that this week as well, as the frosts are staying. Right, this lot now I've walloped that second coat on the fence. That'll do that. Now, got to put my climbers back up. I've got to give the sort of supports out, which is that one there and that one. So I'm just tilting them back up against that post there and that one there, and then tying these up. Them 2. So first one, he was just put in. Once he started hitting that, then I just push him on about an inch, and then the plant can just lie up against him. And last year I just had one leg in it that way. There was another one coming off, so he'll be going that way. And the next one down, he's just got one main stem. I'm just hoping I lost these, because when I was doing the brickwork, these were exposed. But we'll see how we go. Well, that's them 2 done. This was took midweek during the week. And it was garden's north facing, the sun comes up obviously at this end, and it's always behind these houses. And the first day, I think it was Wednesday this week, he got to there, and he was above the houses, which is good for me because then it comes. I've got it on the greenhouse for the last couple of hours during the day, where I've had none at all. So he's getting higher daily. Yes, slowly getting there. One of my drawbacks is my greenhouse ain't in the sun when he is out, and I'm trying to keep the greenhouse about 50, which is 10. You can see he dropped down to 5 there. But that's better than now. My little chap in the dendrobium is doing well in the kitchen. This is a torch from when I was in the mob. Somebody put it on one of the Navy groups. Said, have you still got your pusser's torch? Anything with the arrow on, what the government made, we call it pussers. Then I put 2 fat batteries in and it still worked. Gordon Bennett. That's over 40 years old. Right, remember last week I covered the fleet reviews in the Solent, which was there's Pompey, Gosport, Isle of Wight. Because it's deep waters here, that's where we had the fleet reviews. Now we're going to have a bit talking about the forts, Solent forts. Where's my bit of paper? Let's go on to the next one. Maritime defence. These were the old forts. In 1859, the Royal Commission feared an invasion by Napoleon III. Prime Minister Lord Henry Palmerston was asked to communicate sea-based defences to defend Portsmouth Dockyard, which was just in there, obviously. 5 ports five ports in total, and this was 15-foot granite. There we can see them there. So there's the entrance to Portsmouth Dockyard, just in there, obviously. So here's one of the forts. We'll go on the next one. That's how solid they was. 15 feet granite walls with armour plating. All resources had to be transferred from the quarry by train and then by barge before being secured in place by divers. Christ, that must have been a job and a half then. But these are bloody solid. You can see the portholes, that's where the gun turrets used to be, sticking out. Right, let's get on the next one. In World War I, heavy guns were installed, and in First and Second World War, in between First and Second World War, they were abandoned. Next one. During the Second World War, they obviously had to bring it back in again, but they picked, i.e. the people to man them, they picked non-swimmers so they couldn't abandon posts. Bloody Nora. Although, but that's how they used to look, and that's how they look now. The forts took a lot of damage and were once again decommissioned from military service after the war. In 1963, the forts were put up for sale, although none were bought until the 1980s. Spitted Fort was restored into a museum in 2009. Solent forts were transformed into luxury hotels. As you can see that one there, that one's been transformed. But they've got a good view, obviously Isle of Wight over there, of anything coming in. To all this rain. think I'm out of bounds now for some reason, but it's just closed down because of holiday season or whatever. But that's part of the museum one and that one. But it's good for the tourists because it's another something different. A day out to the fort. All mod cons. Well, that's that bit. That's your history lesson, geography lesson. We're not your visitors, we're waiting for the bed. I thought that was brilliant. Right, Blood Diamond. Excellent film. If you get the chance to watch it, watch it. Leonardo DiCaprio, he's in some, well, he ain't in much crap. Most of his films are really good. But basically, it's what went on in Sierra Leone. This is Southwest East Africa. Freetown, Sierra Leone. There's been civil war raging there for moons. And in fact, it lasted one little bit on it. It lasted for 11 years. It's known as a 11-year armed conflict. Basically, it's the diamonds, the control of the diamond mines. We were there in '77 when I say we got from the Tartar, and we had to refuel in Freetown. That's where all the crap was going off as well. And we had to refuel and move in and out quick because of the conflict was still going on. The UN peacekeeping force that were there were not very well equipped with up-to-date weapons and up-to-date fighters. Anyway, that's another story. While we was in Freeport, we had to berth in. But it was dodgy. We was only there, say, only a couple of hours just to fuel up. But there was locals coming up in the canoes, slogging different bits of things. And I bought a spear off them. Well, I did it a swap for 6 cans of beer. And they gave me one of their spears. That's that one. This afternoon was in the loft. That's my Bertha rifle from Casablanca, Morocco. That's a treasure I bought back from there. But I had this, but some of the stokers, I had a monkey off this bloke. God knows what they're getting for the monkey. But I sneaked it back on board. And after 2 days, I had to get rid of it. His bloody monkey was shitting everywhere. He stunk. Shit. David Attenborough, the most unusual clouds in the world. I saw them in Collegiate, you know, and think, bloody hell, what the hell's going on? Weird. Right, this was the start of Andy's talk tonight, where I mentioned EA very well. Plus, he had to leave his phone up. Then getting back in touch with him to sort him out. So basically, because I mentioned me lemon, which I'd got, which there he is. I remember I potted him on. That's where I had him from, Carbeth Plants Limited. I've got some decent stuff. I've never heard of these until I looked familiar with them. For 18 quid with delivery, which is a good one. But I did ask Andy, and he did show me out loads of photos, which I've now took off and I'll put on the next but how to looking after the citrus plants over winter, because you're still feeding over winter, because that's when they're still fruiting. But good job that one next one. I was also going to ask Andy, because he was on about his, I remember last week, he mentioned his mealworms, and there's Gareth Hopcroft from Sheffield, and I get this off in the charge, and this is beetle crap, basically, all frass, and I get this chip off him, and I flog them £1 a bag with the destructions which are on the back. This biostimulant. And he said it made from mealworm castings, which is fresh. And I was just going to ask Andy if he keeps his mealworm droppings. Or I shall ask him next time he's on. Our little one's moving house, so all his plants he's bringing up, and that's 2 he's bought up. I was also going to ask Andy about them, if they're doing alright, because they need potting on. Is he too big for that pot, or I'll go and ask him. This day workout, I nicked this off the, as you can see, British Falkland Islands and British military group that I'm in. And I saw this and I thought, bloody hell, that's what happened when I did a talk down there. This was in North Wales, and that's the place. Back in the, oh, Dennis, you'll be able to pronounce that. Where I get a talk to their gardening club.
Well, McKenzie,
That's
You'll get by.
easy for you to say. Bloody hell for me. Anyway, I was driving down the road, whatever it was, probably that road there. And these come behind me. If that had been in front of me, I'd have seen them, and my brain would have been prepared for them. Because they come behind me, and all I could hear was that sound when they overtook me, and I nearly bloody crapped myself. But I tried to get this on the film, but obviously when I thought I'd transferred it, but obviously when I pressed that, so it all happens. But I'll try and get it again, and they're bloody loud. But it was good. I've just done a silent fart. What should I do? Put new batteries in your hearing aid. Ian Rushin. Now this one worked. Ben was on during the week. Rushin loves the snow. When we first had it 2 years ago, there was snow on the ground. That's the first thing I saw when I went outside for the first time, snow. And really loves it. And obviously Ben does and all. Usually for 4 days. I couldn't do much work down there because of the weather and the strikes. Tourists. Crap. Right, stuff in the greenhouse. I've sent away for some food for me lemons, my citrus. Wait for that to come. Which was another question I was going to ask Andy. But everything else is looking good. But until they do start spurging, bougainvillea, no, give them a drop of water. And my citrus, my lemons, just to keep them ticking over. 2 chilies from last year, them have been binned. He don't look very well. Well, I still like it a bungalow. He looks alright, he's got new growth coming. Obviously the dead crab will come off. But we'll see what happens. Now it's a daily jaunt of emptying the birds, ice out, putting fresh water in, and keeping their rub on top for them. This chap's doing alright as well. I used to, before you get the frost during the day, I used to open the greenhouse and the vents so there's air circulation. But it's still freezing during the day, as you see the chunks of ice outside from the watering bowl from the birds. So everything is closed up at the moment. That was another one Adam bought me. So that's a Boston plant. Should have took the top of it as well, photo. Because that's how the leaves hang over. But there's new shoots coming from the top. I was going to ask Andy if they're hurting, just leave them on. Or take them off or whatever. Wait till they start growing again. But my heater, which was, where did I have that from? Screwfix. That was condemned last year. So well, I bloody throwing that away. They give me money back. There's something wrong with it. I think I was knocking over easy. But I'm still using the chap. He's doing his job. He's doing well in the kitchen. My 3 old stems, James had no flowers on, and he says leave them on, because I'm keeping that plant nice and strong. So that's what I've done. And then we're back on my fence. Good photos. These are all people taking photos of animals. We've got the little chap sneak up on them. Lost him. Gurkhas, this was 2 weeks ago. No, probably less than that. 10 days ago, someone brought up a government again. Because the Gurkhas who fought for us, all the wars, they don't get a pension from the forces like our lot do. So we're fighting to get them a pension. They're prepared to die for us. We look after them. Common sense. Right, repair shop. Mate rung us up. There he is. When did he ring me during the week? He says I'm on the repair shop. I says, oh, good man. Malcolm knock. He says, take some photos now. So there's that always. What he took in was a fishing reel, which his grandfather used to take when he took him fishing. It had seized up, plus a little trophy, yeah. So there's the reel. Obviously, they had to dismantle, clean, and get it going. But when he'd finished, I had to put the line back on, and they got very close. They got a lake out, or close near to it, so he went and tried it out with them on the lake, and it was chuffed a bit. He got it going again. And they lent him a rod, and they cleaned his grandfather's trophy for him as well. He was chuffed a bit for that. He uses our trading shed. Lives in Craigleith. Well, that was the sword. You could tell by his accent. He was a black country. And that's Rushan outside. Loves the drinking water outside. Rain wears his bedding, it's nice and cold. But obviously, I have to get the ice out for her and renew it. The man who just drove into the parking space I was waiting for and told me to F off has arrived for his interview with me. Perfect. Really love it. Great believer in karma. Right, Ray's going to give us a talk through tonight. You ready, Ray?
Yeah, ready now.
All yours, mate.
These are some of the trees overwintering in the greenhouse. It's just a case of keeping my fingers crossed, I think, with the temperatures we've had this last week and before Christmas. I put these in because they're not delicate, but they're, you know, I'd prefer to keep them frost-free if possible, but it's not been, so it's fingers crossed for spring. I think there's another photo in the greenhouse up my allotment.
What's the temperature in? I mean, is there any heat on at all or not?
No heat on whatsoever. No.
Yeah.
There's another. What's the next one? I think that's the other side of the greenhouse. Mostly maples. I mean, they will go down to -6.
Yeah.
But before Christmas, I mean, it recorded minus 9.9 in the greenhouse.
Good hell.
And this last week it was minus 6.7. So, as I say again, it's just fingers crossed. Hope they survive.
Yeah.
Some of them trees I've had for 30 years. You know.
Poor Bennett.
Now, if you come across these, don't buy them. Bonsai growing kits. I mean, most people that have tried them, they can't get the seeds to germinate anyway. So just collect your own seed from whatever, oak trees, maples.
Yeah.
But don't bother with these. They're not worth the money.
What was that from a pound shop? Something like that?
No, that were in Lidl.
Was it Lidl?
Yeah.
Oh, good hell. Oh, well, when you score. That's the April score, eh?
Yeah, just don't bother with them.
Oh.
Now, like you, I do a lot of composting. And as you can see,
Bloody hell. I like it.
there's my compost bins on one of my allotments. I do a similar principle to what you do. We're chopping the stuff up. But I know you don't put onions and citrus in, do you?
No.
Well, I do. But I mean, mine have stood for nigh on 12 months before I use them. I mean, I have another 5 on the vegetable plot. This is on my bonsai plot. As you can see, we've still got the snow. I think this we took on Thursday. So we've still got a good bit of snow. Yeah, but as I say, mine, by the time they've broken down, there's probably less than about a third in the bins. So,
I mean,
yeah,
16 bins, bloody Nora.
I think there's 20 there. I think there's more than that. I think there's about, yeah. As I say, I've 5 on my vegetable plot as well, but it works for me anyway.
Yeah, that's it all.
Yeah. Now, for my I put my eggs in a tray. When I've got the oven on, I'll put them in the bottom of the oven just to sterilise them.
Yeah.
And then I take them out and put them in. It's a spice grinder. Just break them up with me and put them in that. And that's what they come out as, just powder.
Perfect.
And that goes onto in with the compost. I do have a supply of ground coffee grounds and spent hops from a local brewery. So they're good.
Yeah.
Now, this is a silver birch tree that I had on the allotment. I was told, I mean, I cut it down, it was getting too big, it was shading part of the allotment. So I cut it down along with the one behind it. One of the guys on the allotment said to me, he said, "It'll not survive when you cut it down." I said, "Well," I said, when I've got bonsai, you know, I said, they get cut down and they survive. Oh, he said, "I don't think that will." Anyway, as you can see, it's rotting away and the woodpeckers are having a do at it now. They're just breaking it down. But the other one survived at the back. That's a birch. Whereas you can see just to the right there, that's my apiary with the bees on. I have lost a colony of bees over winter. There were 4 colonies on there, and the weaker one of the 4, I had a look in a couple of weeks ago, and they've not survived. It wouldn't be a small colony. There just weren't enough body heat to keep them alive, I presume. They were all just huddled together and dead, but the other 3 are fine. Now, that's a wood pile I'm building for 2 reasons. My apiary is at the back of it. This is sort of where the wind comes in from the west. We get a lot of bad weather coming in from the west, and this is half to protect the apiary. A bit for the wildlife, because we have a lot of wrens and robins, and they do nest in places like that. I think the next one shows you. I've got a hedgehog there. It's an upturned milk crate with a solid bottom. I'm hoping that the hedgehogs will take to that. There's been none this winter, but hopefully we'll host some hedgehogs next winter, or even in spring. Now, this is our local show at the Bonsai Society. It's what we call our winter image show. I mean, as you can see, most of the trees don't have leaves on, which us bonsai people really prefer, because we could see the structure of the tree and what needs doing to it. For its further development for the following, few months. So a lot of the trees will have wire on, which comes off in the spring as the buds start swelling. I think there's a few of those, isn't there? Yeah. That's right.
That's good for a base.
Yeah, it's just a mat.
Oh, like it.
Yeah. And the other one is a bit of slate. Yeah, as I said, they're, we have this every year, the winter display. But as I said, the general public don't really take to them in at this time of year, because I go out and do talks on bonsai.
Yeah.
I've been doing it for about 20 years, talks on bonsai, and I only do it through the summer months because, as far as the general public are concerned, it sticks in pots during the winter.
Yeah.
They don't look very impressive to the general public. Yeah, we had quite a good display. Because we were about 35 members, I think, at Accrington. It was a bad night. But I think we still had about 25 came. Yeah, the one, two, three, fourth down is a group. That one there, yeah, that's a group of maples. That one actually won the best in show. That one, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Group of maples. Yeah. So yeah, it was a good night. Right. That's a sweet chestnut in the gardens of Wortley Hall in South Yorkshire. We was there for a wedding do. On the following morning, I had a good look round the gardens, and there's some massive trees in there, and being a tree fan, I thought, well, I've got to get a picture of this one. As I say, it's a sweet chestnut. Grand tree, yeah. Now, we had a surprise bit of a holiday with stepson. He didn't tell us where we were going. He just put us in the car, sort of thing. He said, we're taking you away for a couple of days. And we ended up in Liverpool. Well, as you know, we're famous for the Beatles than anything else, but I've always been a Stones fan. And this is the Stones logo, so I had to have a photo with the Stones logo. So that pleased me over the weekend.
Good man.
And of course, you've got to have a picture of the Beatles, haven't you, if you go to Liverpool? So, yeah, it was a good couple of days.
Good.
Now, these are a few pictures of my bees out of my beehives during the summer, doing an inspection just to make sure everything's okay. I think there's a few of those, isn't there? You've just got to watch that you don't lose the queen when you're doing the inspections.
Was it the cold where you've lost one of the hives?
That's it, yeah, the spell before Christmas.
Because you can't really protect them, can you? Have you got to leave them open?
Well, all we do is put the insulation on the top, and that's probably about the best you can do. Because if you put too much insulation around them, they start sweating, and that's as bad for them as what the cold is. But you need the numbers to keep the warmth up. As I said, the one week hive just didn't have enough numbers in, I don't think, to survive. But, I've been beekeeping for about 5 years now. It's a big learning curve.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier with bonsai than it is with bees.
Less hassle.
Well, yeah. I mean, I am a bit allergic to bee stings, to be honest. I've ended up in hospital once through bee stings, but I keep at it.
It's one on our site. I'm allergic to bees and all. Still good with them.
Yeah. But the more you handle them, the more you get used to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my hound. Like I say, she's 6-year-old this year. So, yeah, she keeps me company on the allotment. Now, that's me doing one of my other talks. The other talk I do, as I say, I've done the bonsai talks for about 20 years. I've started this talk about 5 years ago, called Those Were the Days, about growing up in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
I wear this psychedelic shirt for the talks. I don't know if you can zoom in on it. It's I think it gets a few comments. So.
But nobody's going to nick it, have they?
Yeah, it goes down pretty well. So, but yeah, I've got quite a few talks. I've got 18 booked in for this year.
Oh,
so I'm not doing so bad.
Good.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed that.
Excellent. Cheers for that, Ray.
No problem.
Brilliant. Right, this one is Purton in Wolverhampton. They rung me up and asked me to do a talk. So negotiations are in progress. You always do it. Next speaker, ask me. Right, cabbages. This is a row. This is even if you're in your back garden, you just do 3 cabbages, 4, or obviously this is a row I put in. The kids are obviously still at home. So there's 4 of us eating. Right, when you take, because I didn't need the room, I could keep that line in there. Obviously, if you need the room, then you just take them up. But if you don't need the room, when you've chopped his head off, because I'm going to eat him, just put a cross in it. He's still got to survive, so that cross, when it rains, the weight goes in. And the plant thinks it's chopped my bloody head off, I've still got to survive, so I'll start growing again. He throws shoots. So say if we have a cabbage once a week or sometimes 2 a week or whatever, that's what we do. Just keep doing that as we go. It might be halfway along by now, but these are get it. Don't forget, these are still being fed because I want some good growth on them. It's like anything that's growing. It's going to survive with just water, but if you feed as well, then it's going to do even better. And by the time I've picked the last one up here, start down this end again, and there's at least 2 meals off that one. Once I've finished with that one, go to the next one and just start going across again. Obviously, if you do need the room, like I was making raised beds down the plot here, working this way. So I was waiting for timber to make another raised bed, but obviously I hadn't got no timber, and that's why I did this, and I got away with it, just to get me extra cabbages. Another one I borrowed, snowy partridge. Look at that camouflage. Perfect. Nature. Love it. Right, this is me and Alf, BBC Gardeners World Live. It's 2016, 17, can't remember. But this was National Veg Society, West Midlands DA, which is District Association. There's a few, some places have District Association, which is just a smaller bit of the National Veg Society. And this was our stand there, me and Alf setting up. Colin took the photos, come on to a bit. Back on that one. Basically, what I wanted to get the MVS into, instead of just having a display of veg, was to educate the public more. So I had these 2 made as well, compost corner and the kids corner. This lot was all my ingredients for the compost heap, and there's sheets there that I could take away with them if I was interested. I've got my DVD on composting, which was flogging and all, but it was just educating them all. And I took this to the Midland Committee, try and get all the DAs interested, because I was saving all these up, and I got them for them if they wanted them. But we got nowhere in the sense, basically, all the top boys on the NVS, on the committee, were also RHS committee. And if the NVS was seen to be doing more for school kids or kids, that would upset the RHS. That's what I worked it out to. because it was true. So there was our little display in the middle. We've still got some veg in there. And this was the kids' corner. I've tried this down Morven Spring Show and twice at Big Cigars World Live. Basically, it's just seedlings of a few plants or whatever. And they prick out their own, whatever they want, pot it up themselves, and they could take it away with them free. They didn't know what they were doing, show them, and then they'd do it themselves. For our future gardeners, because gardening is not on the national curriculum, which it should have been. I think it's 8 years ago now. Should have come along on the cooking. Cooking started up at primary school, lasted 3 months, stopped, health and safety. So that was a load of crap. But we've lost 2 generations of gardeners. And I did a talk yesterday at the gardening club, and they just managed to survive. There's so the old ones on the committee. There's no youngs to take over them, and I've lost 5 gardening clubs this year who was going to have me for another talk. And I've got in touch and I've folded. Nobody to take over. So Alf and Colin, they used to help me out. 2 mates who passed away on me. Good lads. And I've been in touch with an old gardening group, and they've sent me this photo which they took. First time I'd ever seen it, they know, so I thought I'd bung that off here and all. That's me giving me a demo on my composting. And this was at the big arena in the Monty Don's big spaces here, whatever it's called, where he does his spiels. And I did my spiel here, and obviously he threw me out because that's the demo bench, where I was just, and these are the speakers who was on. So I got Joe Swift there, and Carol Klein, and then there was me on last. Couldn't give a monkeys. Still had a full house, and I put that bit on the end because I asked them to put this lot on, and they wouldn't. So I thought, sorry, I'll do it myself. Basically, it was that. Mick will be talking here in the Flora Marquee, the demo bench at 420. Talk includes composting ready use within a month, raised beds and no decultivation, mycorrhizal fungi and the soil food web, learned through my trials. And I had a bigger audience than Joe Swift and Carol Klein. Monty Don found out because he was in charge, and he threw me out. That's why I fell out with him. Don't need you. Castlon Primary School, did the gardening club there. Oh, then it might have been 12 a year until the missus left. Then I thought, sorry, because all the heads, I think I had 7 headmasters. Because headmasters of primary school, it's just a stepping stone. They then move on to go further. And every head I had was the vandalism we used to have. All I asked them for was one lamppost with a sensor on, a light sensor. So if there was intruders, a light will come on and it just clear them off basically. And not one of them would give me a light. So in the end, I thought, sod you. Although it was, the kids loved it. Well, I loved it and all. But even these lot, I had all these entrance shows, Morgan, everywhere. Kids love it. This, where am I? I've got a talk coming up, so what I do is Google it, which gives me a bird's eye view as well. And I have a look where I can park basically. Right, this is my plant in the bog downstairs. Just nick a cutting off him because I'd lost 2 with the frost we've had. Plastic drinking cup, cut my drainage holes at the bottom. Clover multi-purpose compost mixed with a bit of vermiculite. That's as sharp as a Tadger's ferret, so I've sliced him at an angle. These are a bit too big, so I'll chop them up and all. Make me hole in. I don't just push him straight in, I'll make the hole first. Whatever you put on the end. Paul mentioned this last week, we had a talk. He says the best thing you bung on for the, you don't need root powders or nothing, just use honey, honey. So that's what I've done. Which I've done a fella. Just put him in and then earth him up then. And it worked with the other two until the really frost had it. So just starting him up. Then drop a waiter. Look at that. Right, Lynn was on tonight and hers rung up as well. Someone's cropped up. But luckily, just in case, I asked them for them. They weren't sure whether they could do it. I said, just in case, I'll give the write-ups. So, aroused, luckily. Hellebore 2-2, that one. I think this was last week, let's take it. Hellebore Orientalis. Then we should take the hound for a walk up another place. There's a couple of these growing wild. And there's some corkers. Third one, what's this one? Helleborus Cross. Grand Ori Fennis. I think I bought that one from Ashwoods as a treat for herself. Fourth one, Hellebore Orseus, or Holly Leaves Hellebore. Trying to reduce slug damage, scouring pads around young plant, and Vaseline on the canes. I was a bit late taking advice from a gardening friend. Already a bit nibbled, but fingers crossed. These were overwintering broad beans. I don't know whether, although they got a fence here, they might have gone away with protection or whatever. And there's a mulch on the top. Thank you for that, Lynn. Right, effective composting. This has been advertised. Garden Organic. These are from Coventry. This is where that was Prince Charles, because he's the patron saint of Garden Organic. It was his, I don't know, 10, 20 years or something. Yeah, the competition at Garden Organic Coventry for school kids to enter. I got our lot to enter. We should have won. This was veg they grew, gladiolus and fruit on the school plot. And the judges wouldn't believe that the kids grew it. They says, you've grown it. I says, no, I've tutored them, taught them, whatever, but they've grown it, they've done it, and they wouldn't believe us. So I said, come on, we're going on. So I fell out with them and all. But this one is free. But the last one that was done, the Soil Association did this as a Zoom. And I listened in on that one. At the end, when they say any questions, I just says, yeah, Rosie's ready within 3 months, mine's ready within a month, and they don't like it. But it'll be exactly the same as this one. So I might just stay out the road, keep your mouth shut. Thorny crickets from Cameroon. God, good job we don't get them in the garden. Right, Anbury show I went to last year. I mentioned this to Nigel, our gladiman, in the sense that what I was hoping to do, when I was asked to talk there last year, which I did obviously, but the show itself for gardeners was crap in the sense. It was more for farmers, but there was loads of gardeners there, if that makes sense. Meaning when I did talk, the place was chocker. It was just a marquee. We could have got loads more in. And I was trying to get different speakers here organised. I asked Nigel if he'd do a talk on Gladys, if I could get it going. Somebody else on dailies and whatever. But it didn't work out. Because they expected me. Because I was judging the veg there and then giving a talk on the afternoon. And this was, I don't know, I've done this, but Yes, mate, he was my compare, and he taught me, asked me if I wanted to talk, which I did. And I talked on the afternoon, and I'm on the timetable, I think, somewhere. Probably see too blurred, but I'm on there. I think I did a talk on the morning and the afternoon on that side there. It's too blurred and all. But they wanted to do everything free. I says, all right, then what about me fuel? And they says, no, you donate it. I says, no, I don't. I says, you've had a day of my life for free. That's taking the pee. So, not again. But I did the veg and fruit. All the cake judges were from the WI, and I was talking to them having a dinner. They give you the din. This summer, I suppose. But I was talking to them, and they do everything free with the WI. That's why they expect everybody else to do it free as well. So cleared them off. So Nigel, that one's out the window. But I remember when I saw these, well, not them particularly, but their crap I was dropping. And that's why I went in the bins and got a load of their giant tortoise crap. Try all that good brew. Well, then I thought about my mate James Wong. I've done talks on behalf of the National Veg Society at the Edible Garden Show. This was in Stoneleigh, Staffordshire. I think this finished, well, there's one there, 2016. I don't know whether that was the last one. Might have been the last one. Because James Wong organised it, owns it, whatever. He lives down in London and he didn't like commuting up to Staffordshire. So the last year he did it down Alexander Palace. This one was at Stoneleigh, Staffordshire, and because myself, Colin, and Al was obviously on the MVS stand, we did. I did a talk there as well for them free on behalf of the MVS. And because it was local, I got the gardening club kids from Caslon, because we got managed to get a minibus, and we had them out for the day. Here's Alf, he was a little horror. Butter wouldn't melt, really wouldn't curdle. But they loved it. There's Paul, he was a young man with hair on his head. There's his little Molly. But that was the Q&A with the kids gardening wine. But they loved it. That was at Stoneleigh, and this is when they moved down Alexander Palace, down London. That palace inside it is superb. That's me giving me spiel. Yes.
I was at Ali Palace. I
went
to that one. Yeah, I went to that one.
Oh.
I'll have to have a look at my pictures, see if I can see you in any of them.
Yeah, well, I got that shirt on.
Yeah, I'll have to have a look.
Here's my mate Colin helping me out. But I think that was a 2-day event, I think. I think it was a Saturday and a Sunday. Or the Friday and the Saturday. Because we did stop over somewhere. But that was good. But I've got in touch with James Wong. And I know that he stopped doing them. But I've messaged him, well, his secretary. Basically ask him if he starts anything up, even if it's just for a day event. If he wants me to do a talk on composting, said I can get somebody on a gladiolus. I've asked Andy, he can do a talk on houseplants. I'll get somebody else on dahlias or whatever, or if anybody's interested. But I'll see when I come back. Right, that one there, what are we looking at? Snow leopard. Look at that for camouflage. There's the chap. Brilliant, eh, the camouflage. Right, Steve, our next inputter. Right, so you're on. I hope you're on. You on, Steve? Don't sound like it. So I'm going to talk through it.
He's not on the list, mate.
Isn't he?
No.
Of course, see from here. Right, this is that's got to be Bad Guardian. Looks like Bad Guardian more so than the Rockland. I should say it is. But he's got quite a bit outside as well, with the frost and the rain, frost and the snow. Yeah, there. Some little chaps coming up. Sheltered spot, obviously. More so than out here. And then he's got a new shoot, which I've got on our roses as well. I'll get knocked back again this week. There's obviously some gladies he's bought next year. Snowy ruffle, that's what I like, the ruffle flower. White and all. Plant grow, soil conditioner, natural fertiliser. Reduced, as you can see, that's why we bought that. Plant grow, of course I've heard of them. Whatever they are. Someone else is obviously been doing nursery somewhere. Ericaceous compost. Yeah, we did mention this, I think this was from Singletons up Bromsgrove. That was cheap, going cheap. Whether those damaged bags or when they got wet or something, I don't know. They got them cheap. That was some gladiolus combs he's got ready for me. Next time he comes to our trading sheds, you can let me have them for our lot, our members, to get them involved. No, just give me some as well. Hopefully for our next meeting. Obviously this is inside the house, so he's got his citrus going as well. That looks a bit dry there. I was going to ask him how often he's waiting or feeding. That's dry as a boon, eh? But right. Probably don't need that much, I don't know. Still learning. Whether they're putting that together, bought it, not sure. Thank you for that input, Steve. Lost another one. Right, somebody asked me for me raised bed ingredients, possibly compost ingredients. So I've got 2 old lists. I'll bung them on. So obviously that's more for me raised beds. But some of the stuff people put in raised beds, Gordon Bennett. This ain't that much different to what goes into my compost, because they're all going to break down eventually. That's the compost ingredient one. But whatever manure you put in, that's where you get your worms from. Right, Sail Boy, Mick Seeley. I'll call him Sail. Right, Mick was on Red Watch, Arsene Fire Station. He was on my watch for how many years did we have together? Gordon Bennett. 12, 14, can't remember. But he's ex-para, as you can see. So he's got a good sense of humour, likes his ale. And we've been on holiday with him, I don't know, about 12 years running. I've still got my pension then from the fire service. And when we paid off the house, I says, right, what we can do is we're going to the West Indies. Best place I've been when I was in the mob. That's what we're doing. But something I never told Sale before I organised it. I picked a place that got volleyball. I won't tell him now because I doubt if we'll ever go again. But I used to drag him up, and he's 2 years older than me. But he's still fit as a farm. Loved it. If I'm doing anything now, any sport or anything you like doing, you still get away with it doing it, then do it. So when the time comes when you call, which is it me now, I've got arthritis in my knees, they gave me jip. So I'd still love to do it, but probably really collapse. And I think the majority of these were American. So I was on to the side, but I love it. Used to play in the Navy and all. Went to a base, a French-owned island. Was it Martinique? And before we got there was an army barracks there, and they asked for anybody who wants to play volleyball. Basically, they wanted to play somebody different. So we put a team together, and we legged it there, and we did have a good game actually. And there was French paratroopers, that was hard buggers, and they just pipped us. But we beat them later on when they opened the bar. We drunk them under the table. Good night, good evening, and a good night. Love it. And this was the last time I went to ski. As you can see, I was out there, but my knees couldn't bloody take it anymore. Just about made it back. But that and all. And this photo I see because we took it with the phone until we got home. Bloody shock! I'd have crapped myself with a bloody seal. You can see where he took a bite out of my flip flop. But if you haven't do it, do it. This is whatever that says there. Wax decorations for camouflage. Some weird little chaps about here. Don't get many of them in Collegate either. Right, all the stuff. What was this from? Might have from my tubs where my gladiolus combs were. Keeping the stuff out of there. Elevating, and then I don't. It's easy to just fill that bowl up. Basically, I'm going to infill this lot because I've finished that wall now. I said a second coating, that good walloping on. So I'm going to backfill where it's supposed to be. Perfect. That'll keep the frost off my little chaps a bit more as well. Because I wanted because I was treading on this obviously to wallop the fence and do me wall. All the new shoes that was coming through, I was pretty treading on them. That's why I wanted to get this and that out of the way as soon as possible. But now I've done that, and obviously when this lot thaws out, if it needs filling in or topping up a bit more, then I'll put some more on. And, a bit more top of the garden. You can see the sun's out there, so during the day I'm going to wallop that again. Bits of left. It's where it needs another undercoat or whatever. But they'll be picked out as well, and I'll dollop that lot. So that looks better now. It just shows this fence up now. That needs another coat on it, but no way. You'll have to wait till next year or the end of the season. Although this lot is still there, so it's still going to be there next season. But I'll get around it. That was a main one, and that's out the way. That's ruching, hinting. We're ready for a walk it. Right, talk. This was yesterday afternoon in Lichfield. Afternoon talk, meaning, well, it was Staffordshire and Worcestershire Cottage Garden Club, but it was in Wall, quaint little village, Wall in Lichfield. There I am, just down there, not too far. It was only an hour to get there. I had a piddle before I left. What did I want when I got there? Another bloody piddle. Another sign of getting old. And setting up. Obviously set up ready for my tour. The 9 Lord or my gunk, which I'm flogging. And then it does me a cup of coffee, which is a good one. While I'm there looking round, I always look on the ceiling in these buildings for sprinklers. Something you do when you've been in the fire service. And I noticed this pretty great screen there. I mean, that's only a little one, but the bigger the picture, the better the picture. And I've also got a projector. There was the caretaker. I'm sure that he'll sort me out. And you just pull this down, not that one. Still, who am I to argue? They've got raffle going. I put my donated raffle prize in, just up here, liquid or smoked fish, charge or whatever. But this was their first talk this year, and they didn't expect many to come because of the cold, because they're all bloody old, are they? But because they have it's on an afternoon, 2:30 start it was. Most people would come because it's still daylight, but it was just the weather they were scared of. Look at that cake ready for art when they finish. Busted. And that was another talk that I've been rung up with. And this was... this is for Wednesday, March the 8th. This is in Purton, in Wolverhampton. The Horticultural College is in Purton. So this is a council building. So it's all the allotments in Wolverhampton. I expect we'll get an invite. So looking forward to that one. And that's been sorted out now as well. But I've started coming in again now, looking at the talks. So any gardening clubs out there in the UK, 50 quid a talk plus fuel. And that's cheap for a good speaker. I'll still keep it at 50 quid if he's a bloody chap, just to help gardening clubs out. And I've donated gardening.
That's where I charge for mine, 50.
Yeah. You've got to help them out. And that we've had this was last night's frost. That was a good one last night. And the greenhouse this morning, even with that little heater on, although they forecast it this, and it was freezing in the greenhouse when I checked it this morning. So that's been turned up. And that was first thing this morning. That ain't come out because that was red sky this morning. But with that and that, I thought that's will make a nice photo for the day. So pretend that's red sunrise. Don't forget growing old. It's a privilege denied to many. And last night, I fancied me a rum and coke again. Until next time, cheers troops. Right, no Zoom next Sunday. Because the weather's crap, I can't take so many photos because I ain't doing so much. So we'll have a break next Sunday. So it'll be the Sunday after that. Whatever date that is. I thought I wrote it down, but of course it.
That's the February. Oh, hang on. No, that's. Oh, no, hang on.
Well, about the 5th of February, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, 5th of February.
Oh. So we'll have a break. Or even if somebody's got a few photos, just 4 or 5, just send them me. Because I mean, it's got to be enough weather here up till Thursday, I think. But obviously, I ain't gonna have many photos myself.
I'll have a couple, mate. I'll send in to you.
Good man, Dennis.
Yeah, I got a couple of onions and shallots going, and I've got some electric onions and radar as well going.
Right, all.
They're all well away. I'll send you a couple of them in.
Brilliant. Cheers, Dennis. Nigel, if I get that James Wong come back to me, are you interested in doing a talk?
Yeah, it depends where it is, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, keep me involved.
Oh. I don't know whether he'll come back and say, a practical talk, or because there's some places they can't do films, like a film talk, because of the light.
Okay.
But I can get away with it composting because I can do a practical demonstration or a talk with slides. Do you think you'll be able to do both or either?
Yeah, I could sort something out.
Yeah, real. I mean, he might not get back at all. He should do, because he's a decent lad.
Yeah, that's fine.
Try messaging him on Facebook. On Messenger.
I think I've
Might
got his
get him on there.
profile that you call messaging. You have to go through his secretary.
Well, if you just go through Facebook and it says message, and that will go through Facebook Messenger.
I'm sure I've looked into
He
that.
should answer that.
Not a perv.
Right. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, Scott, mate.
See you, mate.
Cheers, then, people.
Yeah,
Cheers,
thanks,
mate.
Nick.
Cheers, speakers,
Bye.
tonight. See you all a couple of weeks.
Yeah, bye.
Ta-ra, mate.